We got to get that high speed internet going.
And you are live.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on another episode of Joe Knows. I'm Joe Dallow, estate planning attorney in Michigan. I'm here with Dr. Randy Sema. He's my guest for today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Randy Sama. I've been actually really great friends with Joe for probably more than half my life, if not longer. So, I currently live in Michigan. I'm a foot doctor. I'm a podiatric doctor, and I currently have three kids, two boys and a girl. My wife Michelle, and we have our own private practice in Southeast Michigan. So happy to join you today.
Yeah, and why don't you give people your contact information? I know that you guys had a couple different locations, but where are you guys at? How do people get in contact with you?
Sure. So we treat all pathologies of the lower extremity, fractures and diabetic patients and everything in between. And so we have offices in both Livonia and Royal Oak. Our best contact number would be 734-261-3400.
Awesome. So we know that you're a foot doctor, and what types of patients do you end up seeing? What type of um, services do you provide for them?
Yeah. So we see, like I said, all kinds of pathologies, but mainly a lot of patients come in are patients who are either diabetic or have difficulty with their feet. A lot of the patient population is older. We're finding out that diabetes is becoming more and more predominant, and it's not being found as much. And what we try to do is prevent something from happening. So if someone's diabetic, we will see them, take care of them, make sure everything's okay. We work closely with vascular doctors, family doctors, and everything in between to try to get to the main problem. My goal is not just to treat what the patient has coming in, but to prevent it and help them any way I can. So we do all those types of things.
Okay, so preventative stuff. When should somebody be contacting you, or how do they know when they should be preventing it? Or is it just general stuff that people should be doing, whether they know they have a problem or not?
So first and foremost, if someone is diabetic, it would be a good idea for a podiatrist to see you. Secondly, if someone's having any kinds of pain, calluses, and things that they find on their feet and legs, swelling, cramping, a lot of those things can lead to what we call vascular disease. And those kinds of things are generally found later on. And if they're found later on, they're very hard to treat. What we do is we prevent amputations, we prevent the loss of a leg. So if anyone is in situations where they're unsure that everything's okay on their feet, it would be a good idea to get screened and checked out.
Okay, so you said that you work together closely with other doctors. Do you follow up with patients through those doctors, or how do you guys communicate with each other?
Yeah. So we have a whole network. I work out of the Beaumont system. So our hospital is a teaching hospital. I actually am a fellowship director for what we call a limb salvage and wound care fellowship targeted for diabetes and limb preservation, meaning help people not lose their legs and treat any problems in that regard. And the doctors in our system, we all work together. So generally, if I see a patient, I get to the bottom of what's going on with them and I evaluate them medically. And what I'll do is get them in contact with another doctor if needed. My office generally will help make the appointments for you. We send our chart notes, your insurance information for you, and then we'll actually get a report back from those doctors. So I work very closely with 2 to 3 family doctors and a wonderful vascular surgeon as well that we constantly communicate. And if it's something serious, I can generally help to get a patient in these places within 1 or 2 days, and then the doctors and I will text or call each other.
Nice. Yeah, that's it's always good to communicate with the people that are seeing the clients more often, because you don't go to the podiatrist every day, but you do go see your primary care physician typically when you have an issue, and then they kind of refer them out to you, right?
Yeah.
So I know, like, okay, so obviously amputation is like on the more extreme side. That What are some other problems that you can kind of prevent from happening that people should be aware of?
Yeah. So, when you have foot pain or pain in general, generally something's wrong. So, if you're having pain, pain that doesn't go away, sometimes it's really easy. You come in and you can get a special type of insert made. Yeah, we work closely with actually a shoe store the employees can actually help find the right type of shoe. They're more higher end gym shoes, but what it is they give like a money back guarantee and those types of things. But we send people to see them, people who are runners, who exercise, who are walking more, who stand on hard surfaces for work and just don't know what kind of shoes to wear. So that's one another thing. If you find even things like ingrown toenails, sometimes people will they get them and then they go to the urgent care because there's an infection. And when you do that, it's a lot more painful, more time consuming and costly. So we kind of help in those more not so serious situations as well.
Well, it's so funny because, I didn't even think about it, but we're going on a trip to Europe soon. And I was like, my brother said, you should get better shoes. And I didn't even think to ask you. So now for sure, I'm going to make a note after we're done. I'm going to talk to you. I gotta, I gotta get shoes for that trip because we're going to be walking a lot. And we're going to Disney also. So, we're going to talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
later. Um, and I play basketball, so I need to get a couple different
Yeah,
shoes probably, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't realize the importance of shoes, and it's like the smallest thing in the world. I can, show you, and it makes the world of a difference. So I have like a pair of shoes for working out, different pairs of shoes for work, going out, and stuff like that, and even dress shoes. For those who are in more professional settings who are wearing dress shoes, especially the ladies, there is a lot you can do and different kinds of shoes you can get so that you're not in those situations where you're just kind of forcing your foot into a narrow shoe because it looks pretty like you do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Hi, Yulia. She just said
Hi.
hi to us. So, thanks for joining us. Um, no, definitely the shoe thing makes a difference because, okay, so like for me, you know, I like functionality and I played basketball. My brother got me some awesome shoes, but then eventually I realized that I jumped awkwardly and my heel was hurting, and found out that the heel portion of the padding was worn out completely. So I had to buy new shoes. I literally went to Great Lakes. I was there for so long. I went to every single shoe store and I couldn't find anything that I liked that felt comfortable, that I was like, "Oh yeah, I know I can move around in this properly and not get injured." So I definitely have to go talk to you about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I hear those stories a lot where people they try to go and go to a bunch of different places and try on different things, and even so, they'll end up in a I don't know higher end running store or higher end shoe store, and they come to me and said, "I spent $200 on this," or "I stood on the Dr. Scholl's thing at the pharmacy," and I try not to be rude, but I kind of say, "Okay, let's just take it back. Let me show you what you could do." And some of the advice I give people is to go and buy a higher end shoe from the shoe store directly because someone will help you find them.
Yeah.
And then you can go online and find them less expensive later if you're going to buy another pair or something.
Okay.
So sometimes we do, that's another option too.
Yeah. No, but definitely getting a custom insert if you need it, or finding the appropriate shoe to fit your feet for whatever it is that you're doing definitely helps out, because I know I went through a couple of different shoes after when I was playing basketball, and I'm like, this is not the same. They're
Yeah,
either too heavy,
right.
the cushion is not proper, whatever. So
Right. Absolutely.
yeah,
No, absolutely.
yeah. So what other ways do you um, a- ask people to do for preventative measures?
Oh, like so. What I do is, whatever the reason is the patient comes in for, I get to know them actually personally. I try to at least. Some people have lifestyles that are they run, they run all the time. Some people are sedentary, which means they're sitting most of the time. Some people, and I see this a lot, work for the big three. They're on concrete floors, so they have different, and others may have other medical issues that, and they just want a little bit of relief. So after getting to know them, I kind of get an idea. Like, for example, someone may come in and have some sort of foot pain and develop calluses all the time, and really they need some kind of surgery to help relieve it. But some patients, it's just not the best thing for them because of their health, or just they can't take time off work. So then we kind of get a plan. We get some stuff for their shoes, and we see them as often as needed, and we get an idea of them coming in, so that the idea is that they never have this pain and never have, and they never have any issues. So I'll see them however often they're needed. A lot of times if you're having pain, just I know this could be an issue. Things are costly and everything, but insurance will cover a lot of these visits. It's not something that's, it's just like I tell people, when you have a sore throat, you go to the doctor as often as you need. It's not like they tell you you can't come. So this is the same way. And being a specialist, some people think you need to have a referral. In my specialty in podiatry, for most people, most insurances, they don't require any kind of referral. You can just call yourself if you ever would like, and you could be seen.
Okay. And do you see um, that it's more prevalent in people that have diabetes that have issues with their feet versus other people?
Yeah, so every I see all kinds of people. Everybody has something, and it just depends how much is bothering them. See, I see more of the diabetic population because most of the time they're the ones being referred by their family doctors, and a lot of times, and unfortunately, it's being found out a little bit later. They get this type of nerve pain and they can't sleep. It would be nice to catch some of these things a lot earlier. And if we're able to do that, we can prevent these things from progressing. So we have kids that come in all the way to everything, and adults and everything in between. It's also, just like, with any kind of business, it's just a matter of being around long enough, and more people will hear about you and come in, because many people do go to their doctors and everything else, and so the more they kind of know and understand what you do, they tend to have more people come in as well.
Yeah, that's good to know because, you know, like you said, people usually wait until they have a problem and then they come see you. Then I mean, that's the same thing with me too, is like I try to do estate planning for people. I'm like, you just got married, do your paperwork. You just had a baby, do your paperwork. You just bought a house, do
Yeah,
your
yeah.
paperwork. But it doesn't really hit them until something happens. Then they're like, hey, my so and so person passed away, a friend, a family member, a loved one, just passed away, then they start realizing like I need to do it. Or if they're in a situation where they end up themselves needing the services, that's when they, hey, I'm sick, or whatever. I had a near death experience. Then they start calling me. So I try to educate people so that they know ahead of time. And now that it's good to know that you can just walk in, or I'm sorry, you can schedule a time to come in. You don't need a referral from a primary care physician most of the time. You can go in whether you're having pain or not, just to get a checkup, right?
Yep.
Is there any tests that you can do to determine whether or not somebody might have issues in the future or
Yeah, so we take our traditional X-rays, like a digital machine and everything, and then we do. So my profession is we call it biomechanics, and what we can do is when we do an examination, you can see sort of the tendencies of what the foot's doing and what kind of things that may happen in the future. It's really simple. We can prevent a lot of these issues with by making an insert. I make the inserts the old fashioned way. We use a molding that we put around around the feet, and it allows us to take a mold. I don't have a scanner or put people's foot in some kind of box. I do it the old fashioned way because I'm able to get a perfect mold of your foot, and then I go through all these measurements, and then from there I send it to a lab and it's made. We do a lot of teaching in our clinic, so I'm with my fellows and residents and students. They're always with us, and it gives me an opportunity to teach them as well as the patient. So it's kind of a dual thing. So I'm able to teach the patient more and to understand. Biggest thing is education. If someone understands why something is wrong, they're going to do more about it.
Right. No, I agree. That's the number one thing is you want them to make an educated, informed decision about what they need to be doing. You don't just tell somebody, "Oh, you need this thing or you need surgery or whatever." And it's like, why do I need that? Or, that's a lot of times people ask me, I'm like, you just bought a house. What happens if you pass away? You need this document. But then I go through and say, if you have these documents, it prevents going to probate court or
Right.
whatever, stuff like
Right.
that. So definitely education is important when you're communicating with clients.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
is there anything else that you wanted to talk about your practice or what do you do?
Um, So, no, I mean, like we're we're mainly there. We're there to help. I just encourage people when they're having any problems, cramping, leg pain, anything that they're just concerned about, it's just to call and come and get seen. You know.
Okay. So I have a question. What kind of preventative measures do you recommend for runners?
It's a great question. First and foremost, you want what we call like a more rigid shoe. So if you take the shoe itself and the center of it and try to bend it, and you're unable to bend it, that's usually a good thing. It's what that's doing is allowing more support from the shoe rather than putting it on your feet. Secondly, if a shoe is lighter weight, it would help in that regard. And the most important thing for runners is stretching. So most people have a tight Achilles tendon. So if you want to look online for Achilles stretches, and it's recommended to do them before and after, which is it's hard, but before working out, it's really important. What I see happen a lot, we call them weekend warriors. People who don't exercise, don't do anything, and then they go out and play sports or do something, and then they tear an Achilles tendon. You can prevent Achilles tendon tear just by stretching. And like I said, if you just Google Achilles tendon stretches, you'll find things. And the other thing is it's really important to make sure that you keep hydrated when you're running. And so those are probably the two easiest things I would say.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to know because as you get older, like, when you're younger, you're like, oh, I don't want to stretch. I don't need to
Yeah,
stretch, right?
yeah,
But now it's like every time I go play basketball, I'm like, I'm stretching for a good 5-10 minutes
right,
before we get out there because I know I can feel it that
right,
I'm getting older and I need to do these things more often or better and to take care of your body, you know.
right, right.
Um, yeah, I didn't know about the Achilles thing, so that's good. I have
Yeah,
to look up some ways to stretch out.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, all right, so let's talk. I know you mentioned it earlier, but I've known Randy since elementary school, and so we go way back. We played hockey in elementary school. That was like one of the funnest times ever.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna bring it, but I couldn't find it. I was looking for. I still have the stats sheet
Oh, you
from
do?
from fifth grade. I know I posted it on Facebook a while ago, maybe a year or two ago. When I thought, you're going through the basement stuff, and
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. Took a
yeah.
picture of it, uploaded it. Um, so we used to play hockey in elementary school. We used to be over at each other's houses all the time, playing hockey, sports, video games. So what do you do now for fun?
It's well, the kids take up a lot of our time,
Uh huh.
so I guess that's fun. No, so um, I generally like to I do like to exercise. That's like my relief. I'm not doing anything crazy, but I go to the gym pretty regularly. I like to watch TV. We like to get into all kinds of activities. I do kayaking, as far and then we do a lot of weekend, like, traveling all over Michigan. over on the west side of the state and over in Grand Rapids area, up north, in Traverse City, those kinds of things. And obviously, I have an affinity for Disney too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, what's your favorite place in Michigan to go to?
um, if I had to pick one, I really enjoy Traverse City. I think that's my favorite place.
Okay. With or without the kids?
Do I have to answer that? They might be watching with the kids.
Yeah, yeah, okay. No, I like Traverse City. We were there actually earlier this year we went, and we're gonna go back next weekend. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice for
yeah.
Labor Day.
Yeah, for
Very
Labor Day.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
then I usually go to, or I like Grand Haven.
Yeah,
Grand Haven is really nice, and I like Mackinac. So
yeah, yeah,
those are the go-to spots for us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are fun.
Yeah. Um
Absolutely.
all right, Disney.
Yeah,
You guys go there all the time.
yeah,
All right, so if you guys don't know, Randy and his family recently went to Disney and they did all four parks in one day.
yeah.
How did you guys do that? I can barely do one park in one day.
So we have, me and Michelle and her sister Anne-Marie. We all come, we all go together, and with the kids, and it takes a lot of planning. So Michelle and Amory made us T-shirts that said, that 4 parks in one day. It's a thing a lot of people who go to Disney a lot have done, and what it is you make a reservation for one park, and after 2 o'clock you can go to the other parks.
Okay.
So you have to plan it depending on which transportation is the easiest.
Okay.
So we went from we started out in one of the parks, and then we took like a bus to the next one, and then then they have like a monorail system, and so we went through that whole thing, and each park outside of the first one, which at the time was Animal Kingdom, and then we went to the other three. Each parks, we picked. You have to do at least one ride, and you have to get something to eat.
Oh,
Take a
okay.
picture, to show
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So we did that,
Okay.
and towards the end of the night, we have our little one Rocco. He at around 9:30 at night decided to wear sunglasses
Okay.
and be in the photos with us. He was sleeping half the time,
That's, oh yeah, of course.
but yeah, we just like to be a, be outside. We love doing this stuff as a family with our kids, and it's something I got to say probably 4 or 5 years ago I would never have done, like, ever. I used to be like that cranky. I hate going here. It's too
Oh,
expensive,
oh yeah.
like a lot of guys are. But as we get older, we realize life is pretty short. So you gotta enjoy it. I mean, what am I gonna do with money? Take it with me, right? As
Yeah.
they say, right?
Yeah. No, I know. I
So
think I was very similar. We grew up in Southfield. It's like we didn't have that much, and my dad ended up passing away
yeah,
at 45 years old, and I'm like, why am I saving? Why? I mean, like, I'm not
yeah,
gonna not save because it's built in me, but it's also like, if we're gonna go, I would rather do it the right way or
right,
have fun or whatever. So we do a lot of trips with the family.
yeah,
We're actually gonna go to Disney later this year. So
yeah. Of
with
course,
my,
I'll help
yeah,
you. I'm gonna
yeah,
help you with
with
that.
my brother. So we got most of it planned. So I'm like excited about it.
Very
I
nice.
told my son I've been measuring his height since November of last year. I'm like, you need to grow 3 inches. So he got it. So now I'm like, okay, now for the next tier of rides, I need you to grow 2 more inches
Yeah.
in 3 months. Let's do
Or
it.
you can do what I did with my son Liam when he was like 3. I took him there and I gave him those, like, some shoes, and I put something in his shoe, lifted him up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
took him on
I
the,
gotta
the
do it.
wrong,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you
And
could,
they have no idea. Like my
yeah,
kids, it's so funny. We went to Cedar Point recently. I got them to go on the Magnum. They have
yeah,
no idea. Like when they're walking in line for that ride,
yeah.
you can't see the ride, so they don't
Okay,
know like what they're getting
yeah,
themselves into. I'm like, yeah, just go on the ride. They just sat in the uh, cart, like nothing. Not, they don't even know what they're going on, And as soon as we started going up, they started freaking
yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
I get it.
awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
My kids are the same way. My son Liam loves all the rides, and
Okay.
I've been scared of roller coasters for the most part, but I go on everything now pretty much.
Okay.
And then my daughter Sophia likes to jump on the rides with us now, and we even
Nice.
got Michelle to go to go on the rides, even though she doesn't like to,
Yeah.
for some of them. And we, as long as, so some of the rides can be pretty crazy, you know.
So yeah,
So
well, what's your favorite ride at Disney? Or
so
you guys do Universal also?
no, we haven't done Universal yet.
You have to do Universal
Yeah,
next time.
I know
Yeah.
it's I've been there when I was a kid, I think. I don't,
No.
but it's been
Okay.
a long
Are you
time.
guys are you guys Harry Potter fans?
So my family is. I like Harry Potter. I'm not a huge fan,
Okay.
but I heard it's really cool.
Yeah, they have a whole area for that, and we're gonna spend a lot of time over there. Yeah,
Really?
make
I
sure the kids watch it, and then
Yeah.
you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's a couple of rides. Our favorite one is it's called the Slinky Dog. It's a Toy Story.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty fun. It's a roller coaster that all of us like that one. That's
Yeah.
probably our favorite ride.
Yeah, we took the kids. I forgot how old Arya was. So at that time they would get on a ride, they would freak out, and we would just walk in line for the next ride. They would calm down, get on the ride, freak out, and it would just get rotated. They would just they went on all the rides.
Yeah,
So she hated the Slinky Dog ride at the time.
yeah,
And now she like freaked out from it. I'm like, we went on the Magnum at Cedar Point, which is double
way
or
worse,
triple,
way
yeah,
worse.
double or triple the height of that ride. And she's like, I'm still not going on the Slinky Dog ride. I'm like, go on this. You're gonna when you
Yeah,
see it, you're gonna go on it. So
she likes it now. Yeah,
yeah,
my daughter will cry literally and then get off and say, "Can we go again?"
yeah,
I'm
yes,
like,
yeah. I
"Sure."
know. Yeah, that's what they did. They were crying the whole time on the Magnum, and then after they got off, I'm like, "What's your favorite ride?" One of them said Magnum is her first favorite ride at Cedar Point, and the other one said it was the third. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah,
right.
exactly, exactly. It's good to get them exposure like
Yeah,
that, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So outside of Disney, do you guys have any plans of going anywhere else? Like,
Well, we did just buy a house last this past month. So shout out to Connect Loans and Shayla, our realtor. They
yeah,
were amazing.
yeah, Terry
Uh
Cashat.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And they were amazing. So they got us closed. I mean, it's incredible with the two of them, 5 weeks from start to finish.
Oh,
Like we found the
nice.
house, we started shopping and found the
Wait,
house.
you
We
started
started
shopping,
shopping and
found a house, and
and
closed in
close
five
in
weeks?
5 weeks. I mean, it was,
Man.
closing a house. This is my first house. It is painful no matter who does it, but they really care. I mean,
That's
and I'm really happy. So what we're doing is we have some projects in the house that we're taking care of right now. So we don't have anything. We're gonna go to Florida in December. My wife's family lives in West Palm Beach, and we go and see them. We generally will go to we're gonna do like see them in both in West Palm, and probably go to Disney, obviously,
yeah,
and then we will probably find a weekend to go to Grand Rapids and something in Traverse City, but there's nothing really planned right now.
yeah. You're gonna have to sprinkle in some Universal in that.
Yeah, I know. Michelle was talking about that too, so I
Especially
might.
especially the day that we're going. So when we do it, there's two parks. You do two parks in one day. Do
Okay.
the fast passes. It's a little bit more expensive, but you can
Yeah.
literally do both parks in one day and be good with it.
Yeah,
So
that's what we have talked about doing that, so we probably will.
yeah,
Now you encourage me.
yeah, I know. Oh yeah, and their rides are way though. Once you go there, like I love Disney. Don't get me wrong, but like the rides at Universal are just another level. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
into
No,
that.
I think I'm ready to explore now.
Yeah,
I'm not as
yeah.
scared.
Make sure the kids watch Harry Potter. At least watch the first Harry
Okay.
Potter, and then you'll be good
Okay,
to
fine.
go for the rest
Okay,
of it.
I'll go
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. So okay. So you do kayaking. Are you exercise? Are you playing any sports anymore, or are you kind of
Not actively.
not enough
No.
time?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really had the desire, to be honest. I'm just happy I'm exercising at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're doing
Mhm.
basketball still?
Yeah. I'm playing once a week. I took this season off because we're gonna be out of town a lot of the days. So I was like, I'm not gonna pay for the whole season and be
Yeah,
out most of it. So I took this season off, but I wish I was still playing. I mean, I love it. It's
yeah,
fun, but I'm so out of sports, video games, whatever. Like I don't have time or the
yeah,
energy to
yeah,
like be into it how we were when we were
yeah,
younger.
yeah. Me either.
My brother was laughing at me the other day. He's like, "You're so out of it. Like I don't know any players.
Right.
I don't know any like I don't keep up with it at all. Like zero. It's bad. I don't know. I used to be into it too much, but
Yeah, I used to like doing fantasy football a lot. I stopped doing it like 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, me too.
I I follow sports a lot because I do a lot of driving. So I have
Yeah.
like all the XM channels and everything. So I keep up on it, but I turned on my TV yesterday and there was a kids show playing and the kids haven't been in the house. They're at my in-laws for 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
I haven't even touched the TV once.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like you get home, you're like, you're doing all this stuff for the kids and then it's like later, then you got work to finish. And then all of a sudden you're like, what am I going to watch TV for?
Right. No, I know. I'm the same way. I tell people, I'm like, by the time I figure out what I want to watch, it's already my time is done. Like I
Right.
don't have time to like sit there
Right.
and really watch how I
Exactly.
used to. So
Exactly. Exactly. No, absolutely.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you give people your contact information again
Okay.
so that they can know,
Sure.
your office
So
is.
you can Google my name, Randy Semma, Semma. You can Google our office, which is called Nationwide Foot and Ankle Care. We have locations in Livonia and Royal Oak. And you can also call us at 734-261-3400. We also do have a home care side of our practice where we see patients at their houses for that are elderly or are unable to come out for things. And if anyone has any inquiry about that, they can call us as well. So we're always happy to see and help people.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that you guys did that, the home care stuff.
Yeah.
Is that the same way that people can just call and schedule an appointment with you?
Yeah. So there's like criteria to be homebound, but people who have nurses that come to their house, they live alone and unable to, they don't drive. A lot of the patients unfortunately are in bed bound or in wheelchairs, and especially in the wintertime. I have a PA that works for me that helps do most of those, and then occasionally, Michelle or myself will go and see the patients. But we do have coverage and a really good person to come and see them. Sometimes they have toenails that they can't trim or sores on their feet, things like that, and we can help treat all those things.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know because, you know, making it easier for the client or the patient to be able to get that care makes the difference whether they see you or not. And because, they're like, oh, I can't drive, so I'm not gonna be able to go, or,
Right.
whatever. And so that's great that you guys make it as easy as possible for people
Yeah.
to get the care that they need.
Yeah, we try. I mean, I actually, we started out through home care, when I first moved back to Michigan from Florida, and we built our whole practice on home care. For a long time I was doing home care and traveling to people's houses and until I got more established. And so it's very it's kind of funny, like you think you're going in to do a service and helping someone, but they end up helping you a lot because it is a really good feeling to help someone with the smallest thing. So I've met people that haven't left their house in 6 months, and this is before COVID, by the way. I'm saying they can't physically leave, they don't have family, you feel really bad, and spend time with them, and it humbles you. So it's helped me in that regard too. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it's always a good feeling when you help somebody, especially when they can't do it themselves. Like sometimes people can do something themselves, you help them, that's great. But if they can't do
Yeah.
it, it's a different story.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you come across a lot of situations you like we don't I didn't know how people live and how difficult it is for them to truly, and you act, and they bring you in their home. I mean, it is definitely changes your perspective. You think of a doctor and you think, oh, you come in an office, you have 700 helpers, and you drink your coffee and you say this is it, and you go and do surgery, but there's a lot more to it for and I've been fortunate to see the side of that. I do a lot of surgery. I get to see that side. I do lots of teaching, training. I get to see that side, and then the clinic portion. So I'm very fortunate, but it's really helped both humble me and appreciate everything that I have and everything that I'm doing. So
Yeah, so when you see somebody's situation, it helps you understand what they're going through, not just helping them. Like I always tell um people about like my kids, for example. Like you can explain to your kids what something is, but until they actually go through it, they don't understand what that really means. Like if you tell them like, you know, somebody's homeless,
Right.
like they don't understand what that, like they know, okay, the person doesn't have a house. Then they go through their logic as a kid, like why don't they just do this or do
Get a
that? It's like,
job or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. But they don't know what it means to go without food for X amount of time,
Right.
that they're hungry, because they've never felt it. When you
Right.
feel it, that's a different story.
Right, absolutely. And it's actually I've had my kids come with me at different occasions to do some of this work, and I really get to see what it's like. And so it definitely changes their perspective. And we're in positions where our kids aren't having to worry about anything, which is good, but we have to teach them what life could be like and how others have it, so that when they grow up and they get older, they're more appreciative of what they have, and they're not
Right.
taking it
And they can be
for granted.
empathetic with other people,
Exactly.
knowing their situation or understanding that it could be in a certain way, or even if they have to go through it.
Right.
Unfortunately, some such situations, if your kids, God forbid, they develop something later on, they've already been
uh,
exposed to
yeah.
something that they won't like
Yeah.
flip out, I guess. I
Right,
don't know.
right. No, exactly. It's sensitizes. It sensitizes them so that when they're older, they're not so shocked by when these things happen. If these things happen to them or a friend, I mean, you don't want. I don't think we want our kids to go crazy because of some little thing, because they've never struggled or seen struggle. You want to, I believe you want to teach them so that they can go through the situations and not, because everyone's going to come across challenges, and challenges in your own it's in your own perspective.
Right.
It's
Like
different for everyone.
like the challenges that we had when the daycare didn't have enough employees.
Exactly. Joe was gonna start his own daycare, so we
Yeah.
were gonna drop our
That's,
kids off
I
there.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's when Rocco came to work all the time.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was yeah, exactly,
We had,
exactly.
well, both of our kids were in the same daycare, and we had unfortunately not enough staffing at the daycare for at least 6 months,
Yeah,
and it was very difficult
yeah,
getting through because you're relying on people to take care of your kids so you can work. But we had to I mean, we just had to go through it and
yeah. I
make it
mean,
happen
it
for a
was it was
while.
even. I mean, we were getting contacted the morning of or the night
Yes.
before to tell us, we're unable to take your kid today.
Yeah.
And
Or when we're there,
yeah,
I would walk in with my son, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, your class is closed today because we don't have staffing." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
what are we
and like,
supposed
what
to
do we
do?"
do? And then I'm like, okay, you're coming to work with me, and
Yeah.
it's hard. And then, with what I do, during that time, it's like COVID, and so what do you do with a 2-year old?
Yeah.
So sometimes we'd have to call off, or I don't, we just find somewhere to
Yeah.
take them and someone to watch them.
I know. That's what I was joking about. It's like I can't work, if I'm gonna have my son, I can't work. I might as well take everybody's kids
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just have them at my house for the day,
Yeah,
and then everybody's good to go.
right.
I
We
don't
could
know.
take turns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
So
glad that's done.
yeah, me
So
too.
it's good. And then so you have Rocco at the other place now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're all
Nice.
together in the same school now,
Perfect.
so it's easier.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, why don't you give your contact
sure.
information one more time?
Sure. It's again nationwide foot and ankle care. You can Google us, or we have a website, or my name, Randy Sema, Semma, as a foot doctor and foot and ankle specialist. And our phone number is 734-261-3400, and that'll put you in touch with any of our locations in the home care business.
Awesome. Thank you again for being on the show with me. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is an episode of Joe Knows, and I'm Joe Dallo. For all your estate planning needs, you can contact me at 248-914-8146 or email me at joe@dalloestateplanning.com. Thank
Thank
you.
you.